Body look. Doesn't that base look familiar?
Hey.
Don't matter what I'm in the garage for, I just always gotta turn on my neon PlayStation lights. Just makes me feel good. All right, we're gonna do a quick walk around video of this car because I haven't done one. I was gonna warm it up, but then I can't hear what I'm saying, so I'll warm it up after. This is pretty much just a kill switch for the battery. So that's off. After I finish recording, then I'll warm it up. This is a 1982 BMW 320i. This is the first Gen 3 series, which was made from 77 to 83. I bought this car like, I think about 2 years now. I think it was in 2021. And funny enough, I was watching this car for a while on Facebook, but I didn't know at the time that my wife was watching it as well. And I was at the track one day at the Ridge, and she was like, "Hey man, I've been watching this car, like I really want to go look at it." And when she showed it to me, I was like, holy crap. I was like, I've been watching that car too. So right in a moment, we end up leaving the track day real early, and we decided that we're going to go get it. And the original plan for the car was to just be a simple build. It was just going to be like the stance car of the bunch. This is our front engine, front wheel drive. This is a front engine rear wheel drive. The MR2, which is not here right now, is a mid engine rear wheel. And the plan was to get an all-wheel drive, a Subaru, preferably a GC8, to be the four-wheel drive and the rally car. Anyway, long story short, I couldn't find any that was a reasonable price to me, and I didn't want to end up spending what people are asking because I really don't think it's worth it. Like, and they're still overpriced. They're even worse right now. So between that and the fact that we were having issues with the suspension at the time for this car, end up just being like, well, you know what? This is going to be the rally car, and we're just going to scratch four-wheel drive for now. So that's how we ended up here. And being that this car costs money, that car costs money, the MR2 costs a shitload of, even this thing costs money. It's got a lift on it and bigger tires and such. But anyway, the point is, you know, you got a bunch of cars and they all take money. I was like, well, this is not going to be a series like rally car. It's going to be a rally inspired car, or something I could just, you know, take off road and just have some fun, just like I take these out to the street, and maybe even compete in a rallycross event. Haven't actually done one of those yet, but eventually I'll get to that. That was the idea here, and the idea was to not spend a lot of money. So with that being said, there's not really a lot of modified stuff on here. It's just pretty much updated factory stuff. Like, for example, I'll start underneath the car where the front and rear strut, will replace those. The front lower control arm with new bushings are brand new. Pan gasket was replaced. The clutch master was replaced. Spark plug. Well, I don't really need to talk about all that stuff, but it's just updated stock stuff. What you can see from the outside is that we have a rear bumper delete. I took this piece off initially when I took the bumper off, and I didn't like it, so I left it. But then I also didn't like the look here because it had the holes from like the moldings that I took off. So I just put a satin black vinyl, cut it the size of that, and just kind of run it all along here, cover up the holes, and then just kind of give it a cleaner look. Mud flaps, these are Amazon. This is a second iteration. The first one was some $18 cheap ones that were hard plastic. They didn't flex too much, and when you like get like the gravel smack on it, you could tell it, you know, it's just kind of like gonna damage it. I'll probably put a clip in from one of the videos here where it just pretty much tore it up. Holy crap, the rocks tore the plastic mud flap up. I knew those weren't gonna last because you're hard plastic. Now I gotta buy new ones. So I went and got these. These are for semi-truck, so these are more flexible, more durable. So, and I just cut it and, you know, do my DIY install and make it fit. The wheels are factory 13-inch wheel. I believe they're 13 by 5.5 plus 18. I just repainted them gold, and I just left the lip. The tires, I believe the factory tires, 185 70 13. but these are 205/60, so they're an all-season tire. They're not a well-known brand, but I mean, you know, this car stock, it doesn't have a lot of power. I just need tires to just be an all-terrain, and those are what I got. So the main thing you'll notice back here is this DIY rear wing. It doesn't really serve any purpose as far as downforce. The car is not that fast, but I just wanted something to balance the car to make it look a little cooler. And as usual, I just like making my own stuff. It's just a long piece of thin aluminum, and then I have 90-degree ends. I just kind of cut in my own style, and then you can see I riveted here and then put my little strip that I put on everything that I cut. These are really designed to be put here at your door, but I use them for everything that I cut. Cut bumper, they're right there. Cut fenders right at the edge. So I use it to just clean up any cut edges that I make. Mirrors, these are you can find them on eBay, or you can find them on Amazon. A lot of people, I've mainly seen them put them on Miatas, but I made a custom little bracket here, just put them on here, you know, my little DIY stuff. This is the second iteration because it had like a base plate, kind of like this. So it has a base, and then it had this piece where it could rotate in. And if you notice this, it's just literally the rotation that's just put directly in here. And that's because my wife was walking by one day and accidentally like broke it off. So instead of getting new ones, I was like, you know what? I'll just took off the assembly of the other one and just kind of bolted directly here, which kind of worked out better because the look I was going for, as you can see, you know, a lot of those European rally cars have the mirror just kind of like super close and thin, and that's the look I was going for this. So she broke it and it actually worked out better looks wise anyway. Up front, as you can see, the bumper delete as well, but mainly the custom fog lights. These fog lights were on the Civic initially, and then once I started messing with this car, I was like, oh, okay, I think it'll look better on this. I got the paint and just kind of paint them. Then I built this little bracket here. It was just a L bracket aluminum piece that I had. I just bore some holes for a little design, and then holes to then hold this to the body. Well, I almost forgot about my skid plate here, my DIY skid plate. Again, just a nice thick piece of aluminum, measured and cut, hand bent and hammered with a hammer to get the shape, and then just bolt it up on here. So that's that. Yeah, there's nothing else going on outside. That's a factory visor that came with the car. I guess I could just go under the hood real quick. So under the hood, again, bone stock. Really nothing to see here aside from my DIY cold air intake. And this was just a filter that I don't even remember what car. It was just something from something I had, and because I had it, I decided to to go. Well, it was a combination of that and the fact that the factory filter takes up like a lot of space here, and it was just kind of like annoying. So I just got rid of it because I'm pretty sure I'm not really getting any power from this. I mean, God knows how much horsepower this thing makes now. I mean, it already didn't make much brand new, but now just being 250 something thousand miles, I'm pretty sure it ain't doing nothing, but it looks cool. This is the CRX 4-door roof. All the cars here have something from the CRX 4-door on it. This car also has the same, oh, you can look through here. I don't know if you can see through there. Same thing, heat shield, stickers from the roof. The wing's still over there. That car has most of the stuff because like suspension bits and control arms, there's a lot of physical parts that are on there. But as for these two car and the MR2, it's just like metal pieces of the car that I put on there. So even though that car is gone, in spirit it still lives on in everything that I drive. That's it. Under here there's nothing. The valve cover is painted black, and then I just kind of grind off the paint to give it that look. And then right here, the wires, when I went to change the wires, the plug-in wires, I didn't want it hanging and getting like burnt on the headers. So I went ahead, I had a piece of aluminum and just kind of cut that shape out, found the factory holes, because I guess there's holes for a factory heat shield, which this car didn't come with when I purchased it. And I just went ahead and made that, just something to be functional, to cover this and just kind of look cool. It's not a show car, but you know, it makes me feel good when I make my little DIY stuff. Oh, one more modification that you can't see. It was the last thing I just did. So these cars from factory, back in the day, BMW intentionally designed these. I don't know if the camera will show. The rear is about 0 or just a little bit negative in camber, but the front's positive, stock from the factory. They designed it in, apparently they didn't want people to oversteer. Was a good way to, you know, I guess safe. At least I think that's what I read. I hate that. I didn't want to spend the $300+ just to get the adjustable top section, and I wasn't going to invest in suspension because the stock suspension worked just fine. So I went and got from, I think it's Irish or Ireland Engineering for $140. There's like a camber plate that just gives it like, I think it says like 0.75 or 3/4 of plus positive camber, which is installed. You can't see it because I literally had to take this apart and then put it under there. The way you could tell is that if you look down, you could see this gap right here. And then this is like all the way in this corner. When I didn't have it, this whole thing would be filled in. So it kind of pushed this in a little bit. I honestly can't say I've noticed a performance difference with it. I can't even really tell it took anything away because it looks about the same, but at $140 I already installed it. I wasn't going to take it apart. So what's done is done. Trying to save some money there, and I don't really think that I did anything. At least nothing that I've noticed anyway. So the only other modification that's not being shown is this racing diff. That's your sticker. I got it. It's a European company. This model didn't come with a diff. I think the 320 IS was the one that you could get like the sports steering wheel, the sports seats. They had 14-inch BBS mesh style wheels, and then it also had a factory LSD in it and rear sway bar. So this only has front factory sway bar but no rear, and it has an open diff. So I bought the conversion. It's better than what it was, but it doesn't really work like a diff. So if there's anyone out there who want to get it, I'm gonna go ahead and say for $200. I mean, it's not as much as buying like a $1,200 to $1,500 diff for this car, but at that point I wouldn't even waste my time. Again, lesson learned. I will say it is better. It is definitely better than the factory, but it's not what I want it to be. But it's okay, because what I like about this car being as stock as it can be is that when I drive it, it's mainly I mainly drive it hard on, like, you know, gravel road and stuff like that, you know, rally inspired stuff. So I get to drive a slow car fast, and I try my best to do with what I have. I think the first gen Miata came with what's known as a VR or VFD. I don't even know. I'm butchering that. But it wasn't a full diff, but it was better than an open diff. That's the best way I could explain how this works. Like on dry, like when I'm taking a corner hard and I hit the throttle, it won't lock both wheels and kick it out, but you could feel that it's helping, like it's helping the other wheel to kind of catch a little bit. So when you translate that to gravel / dirt, then it makes it act like an actual diff. So that's why it works for me, because on loose surface, it acts like a diff. So that's good enough, because that's all I want it for. So on the interior here, it's semi-strip. I love these carpet. I got them from Amazon. I don't even know the brand, but they work great. Took the carpet out, some of the interior, and that mainly started because the sunroof broke. It was a manual sunroof, and one day when I was closing it, it broke. The gear that would engage this to move it, the piece it was connected to, it just broke off completely, and you would have to just get the whole unit. And this car is so old, I can't even find these in a junkyard, and to like order one from like overseas wasn't even worth it. So I just made sure I shut it and Once I took all that apart and the roof had some rips in it, I just started ripping it out, and then this is where I ended up, which worked out because, as you can see back here, a majority of the stickers here are from places that me and my wife travel to. Store in Portland, Vashon Island, Mount Rainier, Hurricane Ridge, Pacific City, Olympia, like just a bunch of places that we go to. We try to get stickers and just kind of stick them on the car. The Miata house will have some in the roof. Got the harness. I don't use this much because I still have the factory seatbelt, which is more practical. I've used this once or twice when I like go aggressively driving off-road, but I find myself just ignoring it because the process to just get it on and off just gets annoying, and the seatbelt works just fine, so it's just kind of dingles there. So this is the Sparker Sprint Plus, and I had the F200, which I think is an older version to this, but it wasn't wide enough, and the shoulders after long journeys would start to hurt because I have wide shoulders. So I end up selling it and buying this one, which is way better. It's wider, it's more comfortable. This is from the seat that's actually in the Civic. I don't use it in there because that's a smaller seat, but this it works good in this car, and being that this goes on like long journey all the time, it's just good for the lower back. It just works out good, and I like the mismatch look. And it's connected to the factory rail. You can't see it, but I did a bunch of DIY stuff under here to make this work on the factory rails. Again, the whole car is DIY. The whole point is to save money. This is an E30 seat that I end up getting for free, and it's the same thing on factory rails, more DIY. No radio delete. It already came with this short shifter in it, but I built this little aluminum. These are things that I do when I get bored. I just make all these little nonsense that just makes me feel good. This is a 320 wheel. Down here, another one of my favorite things is my DIY dead pedal. That was so annoying, like when I was driving and my foot would go all the way down over here, but it'd be all the way back here resting on the gas. So you could see where it lines up now, they're about even, so it doesn't feel all uncomfortable. And again, just aluminum that I just kind of bend and riveted and bolted and just kind of do my thing. So the factory RPM died, and after reading up online, see, it's not working. After reading up online, I was like, man, they pretty much say I have to change your dash, and I was like, I wasn't gonna do all that. This was literally $14.99 on Amazon, and I just wired it up. Got a RPM. That's pretty much it for the inside. Oh yeah, these are the light covers, by the way, that are in here because yesterday when we went on a road trip, driving in the rain, and we're driving back in the dark, and man, I could barely see. What's going on with these? These are 14-inch snow tires, which I'm planning to put on here. I noticed that the axle boot on the driver's side in the rear is messed up, so I'm gonna have to look up ordering an axle or ordering a boot rebuild kit before I put these on. At some point I want to hit up some snow drifting, really. So that would be kind of cool. So that's the update on the Beamer. It's not really much of a bill. It's just factory stuff with a little bit of DIY here. But as simple as this car is, man, it turns heads. Like, I've had like kids, like 12-year-old kids to 60-plus-year-old like women, just everyone sees this car, they just gives it the thumbs up. It's just, you know, they like it. It's a cool looking car. I think realistically, I think it's just the fact that in this day and age, it looks so different from everything on the road, and you don't see these on the road. It just stand out so much. And I guess the little touches that I did to it just makes it stand out even more with the, you know, the rally look with the lights, the red mud flap, the gold wheels. I love this thing. I mean, I love all my cars for different reasons. I mean, Civic will just always have that sentimental Honda-ness. I can't even explain that when I drive that. The Miata is just like a perfectly balanced, like driving car, like purposeful when it was built. I could tell when I drive it. Shit, this handles better than this. I mean, shit, the internet probably hate me because I know most people are here for this car, but I'm just being honest. I own them, so I can tell. But I love this more than I love that, even though that sounds crazy. It's just, this is just a nostalgic connection. This is a proper functional connection, and this is just, it's just cool. It's just a cool looking car. Like, it looks cool without trying to look cool, and I love it. But aside from that, I just love how it drives. It's just so comfortable. Believe it or not, it's the most comfortable car to drive because it's suspension stock. Taking it on road trips and just driving. And plus, now that I have this bigger, more comfortable seat in there and my little back support, man, I just sit in this thing and I'm just like, oh, just chilling. What else? Oh yeah, I didn't speak about the exhaust. Oh, so the exhaust is all stock all the way up until where the muffler was at. It was rotting when I got the car, so I just ripped it off, and it just had a exhaust shop just well done. I think it's 1.5 from the factory, and I just bumped it up a little bit to a 1 3/4. So they just put a cherry bomb right there where the muffler was, and then come out with a 1 3/4 tip. Well, there we go. I think I'm all done with this bad boy. So for anyone who care to know about this car, that's what it is. The brakes are still factory. They've just been replaced. It's drums in the back and disc up front. Am I missing anything else? I don't think so. I think that's everything. I think I've covered it all. So there is a video for the internet. If you want to know about the Beamer, there it is. Go watch some videos of me driving it around in the dirt, acting a fool but having a blast. I'll tell you one thing, man. This thing is just fun to be flat out on the dirt. Like, clearly both of these cars are faster. That's the fastest of the cars. But this thing on the dirt, freaking right foot to the floor. Psh, good times all day long. And that's a wrap.